IVM.
TFG Football is an IVM production, and you can also check out their other awesome shows like Geek Fruit with fellow and television geeks Tejas, Jishnu and Dinkar as they discuss the world of science fiction and nerd culture.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello and welcome to another episode of TFG Indian Football Podcast. We are once again all scattered everywhere, every part of the country. We can't be in the studio today recording this on a phone. I am in Shillong still. I'll be making my way to Aizawl soon enough. Where are you, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm at home, the comfort of my home. And,
how was Christmas?
You said Shillong and it just pricks me inside, we will come back to that game.
Yes, there were lots of broken hearts. I was watching the match with some Shillong Lajong fans. And believe me, there were some Royal Windhoe fans there as well, who seemed to be very happy. It seems like the old Royal Windhoe, Rangbajit United, Lamsning FC fans. They turn up to see Shillong Lajong play to give moral support, but when they lose, they just make fun of the Shillong Lajong supporters like anything. They don't want to let go of that opportunity to rub it in their face. So I think a lot of people in Shillong were also Indian Arrows supporters yesterday, but more on that later. Talking about fans, an untoward incident happened just before Christmas. It was a bit of a fan scuffle between Chennaiyin FC and Kerala Blasters fans. So a bunch of Manjapada brigade members, when they were making their way out of the stadium after the match ended, they were stoned. There was some stone pelting involved and some scuffles. Thankfully, nobody is seriously injured at this point. Apparently, outside the stadium, somebody threatened them with a knife. And we don't know if that person was watching the match as a fan, which would be worrying because how can you smuggle a knife into a stadium? Or if that person was just outside and just joined the mob that was created after that heavily contested game. Kevin, this rivalry just seems to be heating up, but it's taking a little bit of an ugly shape at this point, isn't it?
It's really going from being pleasant and being healthy towards getting dangerous also. This is not what we were expecting, at least by the way that all clubs have come out in support of the fans, and they've laid claims that they will take best care of the fans. And I think the club themselves have done everything possible. But this is something which is out of everybody's control.
Mm-hmm.
Things like this are not happening inside the stadium. And on the exits, that's where the security will be. That's the last point of security. Beyond that, nobody can point fingers at the club management or the stadium authorities. But this needs to be, at least taken care by the police, if possible, where there are boundaries for at least safe exits from the stadiums till the metros or the railway stations or bus stop. I think that maybe on the days of the match, this can be taken up. Probably this needs to be looked into in more detail, because we still do not have confirmed reports whether what type of fans, was it a fan group or was it some stranger who was not even related to the match. We still have to get confirmed reports, and hopefully I think things should be sorted.
Yeah, but you can just see the way this is taking shape. It's, I don't call Chennaiyin FC versus KBFC a derby, but the pattern of conflict is reflecting that of the derby. There also you see most of the conflict happening outside the stadium, near the bus stops, near the taxi stand, where both the fans, both sets of fans interact with each other, and things get violent sometimes. It's a learning process for the security people. The police will have to realize that these are the pressure points. This is how you need to segregate the stands, but the security does not begin and end with stands. You have to secure the outside the premises as well. At least, like for the next 3-4 kilometers of the stadium. You need to keep watch. So as the rivalry grows, as the popularity of the sport grows, this will also grow, unfortunately. And I think both sets of fans will just have to tough it out. There will be bad elements. So see, you can already see two very different kind of Chennaiyin FC fans emerging. There's the B stand blues who are all about passions, who bring tifo, bring banner, who are co-supporters who travel. They have a lot of sporting spirit in that group. But you also have the local fans who come from the vicinities, so some of them from working class background. They come in on match days. They don't travel. They're not particularly affiliated to any particular fan group, but they do turn up to support. And sometimes these are the fans which create trouble. And you also have the situation between Kerala and Tamil Nadu, the long history of conflict over various issues. So that rivalry is also finding expression here. So people really need to watch out and not step into any provocations at this point, because if it becomes an eye for an eye, if some Chennai FC fans get attacked in Kochi, things are just going to escalate. It's not going to die down.
Yeah.
So hopefully, the rivalry persists, but not the conflict. So we're gonna move on from that. That game was a cracker as well. It was a fun to watch game, and we're gonna wait for the second leg to bring a conclusion to that on-field rivalry this season. But yesterday, Indian football woke up with a hangover after Christmas, which Kevin, you did as well.
Of course.
Oh man, my head was pounding like it like Harry Kane's hat trick, like the way Harry Kane pounded the opposition last night. So yeah, basically, but yeah, I managed to get up, watch the game. I was going into the game. The talk was Shillong Lajong is gonna be equal in points. It is gonna be another season of all the unlikely title contenders fighting for the title. Some fans were even contemplating. One guy was like saying that this is our season to lay. Last time Aizawl did it. It's our turn. Yeah, next 3 years, I-League is going to be in Northeast, and then Minerva is going to do it. All of that, and then the game begins, and the sadness just slowly descended. What went wrong with Shillong Lajong, Kevin?
Everything. I don't know if there's any positive that Bobby Longwood can take home. I think it's rather than a bad day for Shillong, it's a very good performance by Indian Arrows. I think they completely outplayed Lajong in every department. That's full credit to them. The way they approach the game, I think the way of playing has always been the same, no matter what opposition, what scoreline. And it really did not look like Lajong's side yesterday. I'm telling you, I have not seen them play this hardened. They did not expect that goal to come in, and the way the goals have come in, I think it's just shameful for Shillong Lajong. I really felt bad because the defense was out of place. The defenders were just looking at each other as if there was the communication was totally absent, and Indian just took total advantage of this, because they came in with a plan and they stuck to that. So should be the most happy man yesterday. I think this is even bigger than the win against Chennai City that they got. It's completely a way that your fullbacks come in, they're running on the top of the edge of the box. They're taking on defenders, and what beautiful goals. There's just no way that Shillong Lajong could have stopped that, because it was just too bad to look at. It could have been more. I'm really feeling sorry for Bobby. It could have been more, because the way Lajong have defended yesterday, I think they just want to forget this game and come back stronger, because this is not how our team that's aspiring to be at least in top 3 should be playing.
I think I know what to blame. I know where the blame lies on this. You can't force a bunch of Khasi guys to spend the Christmas away from their homes in Delhi, that too, and expect good results to come out of it. Very bad on whoever made the fixture. You just don't, at least give them a home game so that they get to bask in the spirit, which was very awesome, by the way. So one of the things is that it just seems like Lajong have been running on a very bad run of luck. I got here, I managed to watch the second half of the Shillong Lajong Neroka game from the stadium, and they hit the post twice, then Neroka scored, and here as well they seem to be directionless in the attack, and the Indian Arrows found the mark so well. I mean, that one goal was completely world class, and Jitendra also became the youngest scorer ever in the I-League, or was it Jerry? I think Jerry.
No.
Yeah.
Was it
Nongdomba scored that beautiful goal, and Jitendra became the youngest scorer in the history of the top division. Yes, previously that was Boring Dao Bodo. I was getting confused with Jerry because I think Jerry had still has the record for the youngest goal scorer for the national team. That's the correction. So many remarkable things that came out of Indian Arrows' performance, especially their attack. What does this show? It seems like going through that grind of defeat after defeat, and finally putting their feet down and saying, no more. We're gonna make a stand now, and we're gonna make an effort as a team to strike back. And finally, their efforts. I mean, they never really looked too bad on the field, but finally their efforts just clicked. Do you think that was a major factor in this kind of a result?
Really, no. We're just looking at the previous game before they played Shillong Lajong. I think the second half performance that they brought up in that game was really, this was a continuation from where they left off. And this is exactly we were talking about. If you don't have goals to score for, I'm missing. You can't paint a good picture at the outskirts. And goals from three different goal scorers. What does it tell you? You're not heavily dependent on one player performance. Aniket Jadhav was playing so well in the first game that they won. And look at this. Now, they didn't have one performer. They had three star players, and what beautiful goals. They were team goals. I wouldn't say that was not a team goal, the one which Nongdomba scored. I think, again, the way the ball, look at the attack, where did it start? It started on the right wing, it comes to the center, and then he comes in from the left-hand side and just dances, he walls his way inside the box, and there's no way to stop him. So these are all good team goals that I think Mato should be proud of, and this team really is high on confidence. If they can just be a little more consistent. What happens is goals will be scored, goals will be conceded, but if you're able to get that spirit amongst yourselves when you're back, when you're down one goal and you can hit back, I think getting back from a goal down is the best test of character that any team can be put to. And that is what is needed in this Indian Arrows team. Apart from that, I don't think there should be any complaints the way they played the last two games.
Do you think now that they've finally found that touch and confidence, they're going to cause some upsets in the coming weeks?
That's again, it's debatable. When you've got three goal scorers, and you will still require the core of the team to perform consistently. So these are moments. I wouldn't say these will take them too far, but these are moments that will be expected of them. But the core of the team has to be, there together, like Rahul has been doing. That is some good player that we've seen. Then Boris, something he does tend to lose his temper. And that kind of a small, at least 3 or 4 players who give you that steady performances in different areas of the field. I think that is what is required to, upsets are a bit far from me as of now. But, I think they can get better.
Yeah, and such a great sign that we are seeing some Manipuri strikers do so well for the Indian Arrows team. The youth talent that's coming to the forefront from that state. And I was actually speaking to somebody very closely associated with Manipur football on Christmas Eve, and he was telling me that the young talent of the state is not even being mined to 30% of its potential. The infrastructure is not there. The grassroots programs are not regular enough. They don't cover enough ground. They don't provide enough opportunity or a platform for young players to emerge. These are players, the 7-8 players from Manipur who played who made their way into the World Cup squad for India. They were trained by AIFF. Not by the state association. So imagine if the state association steps up its game over the next few years, and the talent mining goes, doubles in its capacity. Then we will see how many Nongdombas and how many Jitendras coming out of that state. So that's something I think that the federation should take away from performances like this as well. So now we have talked about the game from yesterday. We have 2 games coming up today. It's Aizawl FC versus Minerva Punjab and East Bengal versus Gokulam FC. So we will talk about that on the other side of this short break.
Hi, I'm Amit Verma, the host of the weekly podcast The Seen and the Unseen. In my show, I examine the seen effects and the unintended consequences of public policy and private action. I show how policies meant to help the poor often end up hurting the poor. I've done episodes so far on demonetization, GST, surgical strikes, immigration and MRP. And I will continue my forensic assault on the truth in the weeks to come.
Catch the show every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer. Or visit seenunseen.in for all the latest updates.
Welcome back, guys, from the break. We're talking about today's I-League fixtures. We have Aizawl taking on league leaders Minerva Punjab at home, and East Bengal hosting Gokulam FC. I don't remember the last time a top division club from Kerala visited Kolkata, so this is a remarkable occasion on its own. We have Aizawl FC versus Minerva Punjab happening today, which is 27th December at 2 p.m. By the time you're listening to this, probably the match is over. What do you think? Aizawl FC playing at home and Minerva Punjab playing their first away game of the season. Is this when the streak ends?
You always hope for something that's trending. It breaks, and then you have parity among all teams. East Bengal are looking very strong. I think they're still they're going to take all the way. At least a couple of games before they get disrupted. Yeah. Gokulam do not look as strong as we were expecting, but we never know. No, even Indian Arrows, for that matter, they were looking. They did not look a favorite to go into the game against Lajong and see what happens. So we always expect the unexpected, and East Bengal are going on a good run. Probably, just coming back from that defeat against the Derby before Chennaiyin again. You say that. Yeah. Minerva Punjab again. They're looking strong. Just look at the points that they've got. 13 points from 5 games. And just compare this how it was at the end of last season. 13 points, which is what Minerva got after this at this end of the season.
Oh.
Just see the form that they're running into. I think just they just can carry this forward if they're able to play consistently. I think consistency is the key for Minerva as of now. They're doing pretty well.
Yeah, of course, Aizawl FC, another team that really could do with a extended Christmas break, but they're playing today. Hopefully they turn up, they don't pull a Lajong and put up a fight against Minerva Punjab, who are the league leaders right now. League leaders Minerva Punjab, imagine that. Who knows if Aizawl FC will step up and say, what we did last season, we will not let you do this season, not on our soil. Or if Minerva Punjab, fueled by their new beautiful tire sponsors, just run through that. and make a meal of it. So we'll see definitely what's happening on that. 2 p.m. Star Sports 2 HD and Star Sports 2 normal, and GeoTV and Hotstar, etc., etc. Live updates on TFG Football Twitter handle. So Gokulam have been having some tough times. They did not, start off with a song. They've been facing similar difficulties that Chennai City and Churchill Brothers have been facing, although not as bad as Churchill Brothers at this point. I think no one in Indian football is facing as bad a time as Churchill Brothers. But more on that when they play. So Gokulam facing East Bengal at home. East Bengal have recovered their form after their derby loss, and it seems like they are slowly reorganizing themselves and coming out as the title contenders that they mean to be. So do you think Gokulam FC get anything from this game tonight?
Foreigners. Can the foreigners deliver? Among Indians, whom do you point out as the best player? Except Sushant Matthew, I don't think anybody really outperforming anyone else. They have to be dependent on Mbele and Khaled. These guys will have to be the ones who are driving the team forward. And Gokulam FC, I think, looking at the foreigners, they've got one of the best foreigners in the I-League because they look very strong and they're capable. Just that combination and the way the understanding is not quite evident in Gokulam FC as of now, but I see good strength in them. The way the initial game was played, and they can just forget the home loss against Minerva there. I think that's a total disaster to talk about. But they did suffer on some of the fitness of a couple of players. That's where it hit them, and they will be hoping for the fitness of the foreigners, and that's the only way I suppose Gokulam FC can just make a mark in the I-League. They don't have huge targets. Getting into the top 4 would be the best result for them. So just a couple of wins here and there, maybe. Obviously not against East Bengal. It's too much to ask for.
Yeah.
Maybe Churchill Brothers, somebody who's not running in the best of forms. Because this game obviously looks like a 1-point game for Gokulam FC. Just try to manage that goal. If they're able to hold on to a goalless draw, that would be a good result for them.
Yeah, of course. A draw away at East Bengal is a good result for any club in the country. So we are looking at East Bengal, who are not only having a comprehensive set of foreigners, but they just have some really good Indian players. The ones who are coming in from Aizawl FC from last season, the ones who have been there before. It just looks like a well thought out squad that is slowly emerging to the top simply because of its quality and synchronicity. And Gokulam just don't seem to have that kind of depth in the squad, depth of talent, depth of ability. As you said, they may have really good foreigners, but the Indian players hardly match up. And in the end, we've seen this in I-League, we've seen this in ISL. The teams with the better Indians often just ends up being at the top. So yeah, we're gonna see how this pans out. This is on 8 p.m. Star Sports 2, Star Sports 2 HD, GeoTV, Hotstar, all those places. Live updates on TFG Football Twitter handle. So we're gonna bring you all the updates, and the action has returned finally from the extended break, and so has this podcast. We're gonna go into the end of this year with some mega blockbuster fixtures, and January is going to be a cracker of a month. So there's a lot of action to look forward to, and we're going to be there for you, with you every step of the way, bringing you updates every single day as the only Indian football podcast that comes to you every day, Monday to Friday. So keep listening to us. Thanks, Kevin, for joining after recovering from the hangover from Christmas. I will probably...
I was expecting you could come back and point to the Shillong Lajong loss. I'm very thankful to you did not do that.
No, I'm not that cruel. Especially in this season, I'm just on top of the roof of my friend's house. I'm just looking at the valley. The wind is nice. The temperature is about 15 degrees, and the sun is out. It's perfect. The world is too beautiful right now to spoil with squabbles and pot shots. So yes, hopefully Shillong Lajong also make a comeback, and the people in this town become a little bit more happy because of that. That would be nice. Listen to us every day on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever podcasting app that you prefer. You can also listen to it on IVM Podcasts app, which carries some of the best Indian podcasts that you can find out there. IVMpodcast.com also has the podcast along with other shows that they produce. And if you're listening to us on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and every other thing that Siju usually tells you to do. Hopefully she'll be back with us tomorrow. So thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow. Bye.
That was Tantrik Steve from Hansraj College, Delhi, performing at IIT Bombay's Mood Indigo. Just like them, there's a lot of new talent and art coming out of colleges all across India, but unfortunately most of this goes completely unnoticed or ignored. To fix this, we started atkt.in. Hi, I'm Ankur, I'm a musician and a rapper, and I found that one of the best things about being an artist myself is finding new talent. Through atkt.in, Tanya, my colleague who's a dancer, and our whole team really is putting all of our efforts into discovering and promoting all the coolest talent that's coming out of colleges all across India. And this goes up on our website, our social media, TV, radio, and now, of course, this podcast with IVM. Make sure you go to our website, support the talent with your likes, your shares, your comments. All of that really matters. Go ahead, check it out. atkt.in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.